fall in love with yourself, fall in love with who you are, invest in yourself, develop yourself. I wasn't always happy with who I was as a person, and I needed to make changes. I just actually hired my first sales guy like 2 months ago. I was doing the sales and CEO. It was a lot, and I was like, holy, this is God speaking right now. Like, this is, you're at the right place at the right time.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the 4Media Uncut podcast. Today we have a very special guest, Mr. Neal Karski, all the way from Blue Ridge, Georgia. That's where he's from, right? Blue Ridge?
Yeah, dude. This man runs a marketing agency from his computer and Wi-Fi in the middle of the woods. Really cool story. He doesn't run some crazy massive operation, but he's created a lifestyle of his own. He lives in the woods. He literally is separated from all of society. Had to drive pretty far just to get here, and runs an entire marketing agency from that. Has a great team culture, does everything. So it's kind of cool to see a different take. We're very like to be around people. We like to have an office. We like to always be engaged with each other. He's kind of in the opposite boat there and wants to get away from society, to say the least. So super exciting stuff. Different take on the agency, and I hope you guys get some value out of it.
All right, Neal Karski, CEO of Patient Engine. Welcome to the podcast. Glad to have you here. Thanks for driving down. You live in Georgia, but you're like a little bit.
Yeah, I'm a transplant. So
is it Georgia though?
It's the state line. So I live in Blue Ridge, right? And I'm from Chicago, big city. I moved down 5 months ago. We chatted, and I built a house in the middle of nowhere, basically 15 minutes from town, they call it, but
town isn't even really town.
Yeah,
it's like one street, isn't it?
No, it's 1,200 people. It's a cute little mountain town.
That's huge. We have more than that in our office.
And
our office is a town, technically.
So people always ask me, they're like, where do you live? I'm like, Blue Ridge. Or I tell them, like, I live by the state line. They're like, which states? I'm like, Georgia and Tennessee. They're like, what are you doing there? I'm like, I just live here. And they're like, perplexed, because
there's nothing to fucking do, bro. What do you do?
There's a lot to do, actually. There's a lot to do.
Grow a business. You get more motivated to grow a company when you got nothing else to fucking do.
I mean, you definitely get super focused. You're concentrated. No one bothers you. It's amazing. And there's a lot of outdoor stuff to do. I've been shooting a lot of guns lately, to be honest.
Hey, fun times. Shooting guns too.
I saw you're on the range. So I found an instructor. I basically went on Facebook. I'm like, can I get the best instructor to help me get better at shooting?
And out of the 1,200 people, there was one.
No, there's a couple there. And I found this guy. He became like one of my best friends in the area, and he's phenomenal. So we shoot every Friday, and that's like my therapy. And it's so fun. And it's an amazing mental exercise too, right? Especially like I'm out on a range with him, open range. We're shooting everything from pistols to ARs, and it's a big responsibility. Shooting guns is a big responsibility, but it also makes you sharp mentally, and it's so therapeutic.
For sure. And there's like that added like mental aspect of when you're doing it, you're like, I might have to like actually do this for real one day, so I need to fucking lock in. You know what I mean? Like there's like
never think about that.
No. I don't know. Like I feel like with some other hobbies, like even with the mental aspect, like there you might have that, but with shooting guns, it's like there's also a different purpose for shooting guns besides just like, ooh, this is fun.
We do a lot of drills and stuff like that. So
that's dope.
I mean, basically I was like, hey, I just want to be a savage and help me to be able to do this in my daily life, like be able to carry and all that stuff. I'm from Chicago, so I'm
It was necessary up there.
It was.
In Blue Ridge.
Everybody carries in Blue Ridge, yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say, you were like, out of the 1,200 people, there was one. I was like, there's probably like 50% of the population of Blue Ridge.
There's probably 1,200 that know how to shoot a gun.
No, but it's great. And honestly, I highly recommend to anybody. It's just something that you can master and that's fun and also challenging. So shooting a pistol is super challenging when you're first starting out. It really is. Like I could point at somebody 5 feet away and miss, right? Because of the recoil. But anyways, lots of fun. Highly recommend it. One of the best things to do in Blue Ridge, Eddie. So when you come up,
one of the only things to do in Blue Ridge.
When you come up, we're going shooting for sure.
So. Oh yeah,
that's too funny. So I guess I know we were talking kind of about your company here. tell us kind of a little background on like what you do.
Yeah. So we're a social media advertising and lead conversion coaching agency. We're very focused on the body sculpting and aesthetics niche. It's a big niche. It's growing tremendously. And I was at the right place at the right time, because in 2000, I guess, 1920, when the whole lockdowns happened, a lot of people came out of these lockdowns and they're looking for convenient ways to look better, feel better, right? And people were eating like shit and all that good stuff. So basically, body sculpting has been around for a while, but it became a lot more of a popular niche recently, and it's blowing up. There's a lot of different machine distributors and providers coming out in the market, and everybody's doing body sculpting because it's convenient, it's fast, it's non-invasive, it's a better way to look better. So we basically wanted to niche down, and we picked body sculpting because it's a huge market. You know, as you guys know, Cool Sculpting was the pioneer in that market, and a lot of different machines came up after that. So we are focused on body sculpting because it's a good way for clients to get a high ROI in the short term. So what does that mean? There's a lot of different treatments in aesthetics, like facials, massages, all that good stuff. But with body sculpting, you can sell a $2,000, $3,000 package. So it makes sense for a client because they get a good ROI, right? So what we realized as a advertising agency who also sets appointments for clients, we realized that a lot of clients have struggling teams that do not know how to sell. So we added the coaching aspect. So in a nutshell, that's what we do.
Do they even listen to your coaching, bro?
I'd like to say, they do. I think my most successful clients, the ones that implement that.
Of course they succeed because they listen to your coaching, but like, what percentage of them actually do? Let's be honest here, because we do the same thing, and like we were just talking about this today with our team, like on our local business side, right? We have a pretty good bit of people there, and one guy was like trying to quit, and this always happens, and my dude's like, bro, like I've been telling you exactly how to sell them, and you sell them wrong. I listen to all the recordings, like all this stuff. Just do what I tell you. He's like, nah, these people just don't answer. He's like, okay, cool. How about I go in your account for 2 days, and if I get people to answer and sign up and book appointments and pay you, you don't leave. He's like, deal. 1 day later, the dude's like, hey, definitely staying. What are you doing, bro? Because I don't understand like how you're getting all this. He's like, I'm literally doing exactly what I keep telling you to do, but you just don't do any of it, and you think you know everything. So we probably have like 90% of people don't actually listen to the sales advice. So that's why I'm asking you. Like, that's a pretty big percentage. I'm sure you're probably north of 3/4.
Yeah. So I think for us, I'm just trying to be in front of clients as much as possible without obviously trying to nurture 150 clients that we have right now. And, you know, we have a private Facebook group. I'm always telling our account managers, hey, listen, if they need coaching, put me in front of them for 30 minutes, because honestly, that's all we need. We do have coaching videos. We have a full folder, like you said, and I want to say 20 to 30% of our clients probably have accessed it. And the ones that are actually implementing or building a predictable sales process are the ones that are doing well. Just being able to sit down with them and dissect where the gaps are for a few minutes really helps to solve a lot. I was in a coaching call when I was driving down, and I basically interviewed the staff, and I was able to uncover the gaps real fast. So I think coaching is huge. I think there's a huge disconnect in our industries between sales and marketing, and the faster we're able to bridge that gap, the faster we're going to help clients become successful. So educating them on that is huge, because marketing by itself doesn't cut it anymore.
For sure.
So I know your advice is good, but what is our conclusion here? 80% of people don't listen.
People just don't listen.
You know, I think it's I think a lot of people listen, less people implement, right? I have there's a restaurant in Blue Ridge. We're always gonna go back to Blue Ridge because it's a funky little town and a lot of lessons. There's a guy there. His name's Doug. He owns a restaurant called Oscar Chili's, and it's the best lunch spot in town, farm to table stuff. He's by himself. He can't find staff. A lot of people can't find staff nowadays. That's good, right? Or retain them. So he's been trying to sell this place, and I'm like, Doug, like when you leave, like where am I gonna go for lunch? He's like, you're gonna have to make your own. Makes sense. So I'm like, all right, you're gonna give me all the recipes. He was like, here's the recipes, but it doesn't matter because I'm gonna execute better than you anyways. I was like, damn. Yeah, he's like, yeah, I put this chicken in brine for 3 days. I add this sauce, these ingredients. It's just a style. So going back to what we were talking about, it doesn't matter. I can teach you everything I know, and it's just putting stuff in practice, right? And the example you gave, it's a tangible thing, showing people that actually, hey, putting things in motion, you can get some results out of it. So it's a challenge for sure.
I saw this quote recently that was like, we used to think that the reason why society wasn't advancing was lack of access to information. Well, we've obviously proved that wrong.
That's true. So how'd you get into, speaking of information, like what got you into building an agency? What'd you do before that?
I was a consultant, so talking about putting together strategies. So my first business I started when I was 19, and it was more so out of need than anything. I was in college. I had been doing some modeling stuff, promoting, going to nightclubs underage. And basically it was...
I mean, you're like fucking 6'20", so how tall are you?
6'6".
This fucking feels massive, bro. Like,
and
I'm sure at fucking 18, he was like towering over the bouncer.
Right. So
I dare you.
Yeah, so I was just in, honestly, I was a poor kid. I was in college, and I was like, hey, I got to do something. So I had my brother whip up a website. I went to some nightclub owners, and I was like, hey, I'll throw in a fashion show for you, and it's going to bring you people. And this was in the recession. It was like 2009, and they're like, yeah, well, we don't have anything to lose. We don't even know who you are. It's fine. We'll do it. So it just kind of blew up, and I started doing a lot of events there. So that kind of gave me my first glimpse into marketing and events and selling yourself and your brand. And then I guess I had to use my 3 degrees that I got at the private university, which was a phenomenal investment.
Of time and money, I'm sure.
A1 ROI.
Moment of silence here.
What are your degrees in?
My degrees are in economics, finance, and marketing.
There you go.
Hey, I feel like those are 3 pretty good degrees, but at the same time,
which taught me.
Did you need them?
Actually,
which taught me how to be a really good beer pong player. So
dude, that's what I learned in college. I'm filthy.
So I, long story short, I did a bunch of stuff.
Bro, your height too. That's gotta be so easy.
You're just lasering them in.
It's not about the height. It's how you use it.
Okay.
So after that, I worked for an investment bank. I worked for a few consulting companies. Honestly, I was bored. I have a very non-traditional resume. You probably would look at it, you'd be like, this guy hopped around a lot. I was just bored. Honestly, I was bored, and I was looking for a constant challenge. And I kind of just, after working for yourself in college, I was like, I can't work for anybody else. I just can't. But I had to learn. I had to learn from others. I had to learn discipline. So I worked for some really amazing mentors in the companies that I worked in. And I was consulting for the last few years, which honestly taught me quite a lot and taught me that you can only get real results when you implement those strategies, right? Because a lot of consultants, they can put together nice pitch decks, but if clients don't implement, or if you don't help your clients implement, you're not going to see the fruits of your labor. So after that, my boss, who's awesome dude, he started a couple companies, scaling 70 million. He's like, dude, you can't work here. You got to go do your own thing. So I was doing some independent consulting at the time, and my cousin and I, we started a creative agency for a while. And we did healthcare, we did a couple other sectors, and we did pretty well for ourselves, but we didn't have enough relationships and just enough of a niche focus to do well. So we decided to wind that down a little bit. And then I came across this body sculpting niche, and I was like, I think this is it. I think I really need to focus and get away from all the distractions and build this agency.
So, like, why the agency? How the agency? Like, Like I get the story leading up to it, but like how did you discover building it? Like you don't go from a consultant to
so
we sell marketing services, I guess.
Yeah, so originally with the creative stuff, I found I had a conversation with my cousin, and he's like, he's an amazing designer. He worked with some Silicon Valley projects, and I was like, all right, let's just sell your websites. You know, I'm going to go learn how to sell, and let's go. And that's how we started working on the agency model. And then I was like, man, hunting for projects, it's a bloodbath out there. You know? So it's a bloodbath out there. I was like, I got to find a way to, you know, to get some recurring revenue in place and just build something that's sustainable with a good heavy.
What was your main like service at the time that you were kind of selling? What was your offer?
At the creative
like you said,
startup.
You and your cousin kind of, right?
Yeah. So we're basically selling a lot of like brand strategy stuff that I learned in my consulting lifetime and websites and general branding that he had more expertise in.
Because he was doing the designs and stuff.
Correct.
And you were kind of doing the sales.
Right.
Nice.
So I was doing the sales and strategy. He was doing the fulfillment. And I basically went to all my relationships in Chicago, and you know, we got some really cool projects. We did some startups. We did some Fortune 100, couple of healthcare companies. And then I realized, man, I was like, I'm just, you know, this isn't going to scale, you know, and it's okay. And it's
With
okay.
just the two of you guys.
Right. Yeah. And, you know, just lack of relationships. And, you know, there was a little bit of a diluted focus there. So I was like, hey, you know, let's take the L and let's take away some lessons. And he went on to getting a job at Automatic, which is the guys who do WordPress and Tumblr. Like he's insanely good. And I was like, all right, I'm just going to go and, you know, get on my journey and scale this thing. So that's when I actually started with Joel's program, and the rest is history.
It's funny how many people have been through Joel's program.
Shout out Agency Lab, dude, for real. They've produced some killers for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
I think Joel said on the last, or I can't remember, but there was
100K a month agencies. That's what you're looking for.
Wild, yeah. 100K agencies. It's pretty sick.
Yeah, and unless Neal's charging like $500 a person, I think he's over that one.
We have 1 million clients for $5 a month.
For just $5 a month.
No, big shout out to Joel. He definitely gave me the right blueprint to launch and gave a lot of us this network. So yeah, big shout out to him. He's a good dude.
Hell yeah.
So in this process of building, like, let's get into like the agency side. This is like the fun stuff that I like to talk about. So like you started this agency, Patient Engine.
Honestly, yeah. Let's talk about the brand for a second. It was just, I think it was on a whim. I think Joel and I were having coffee and we're like, let's just call this Patient Engine. Honestly. And the lesson learned here is, I think I'm huge in branding, but man, the offer can go way beyond that, right? To get you to a certain spot, right? Now we're actually thinking like there was a competitor of ours that was called, you know, that had a similar name to ours. And we're like, all right, this is causing a lot of issues. So we're thinking
patient transmission.
Right? Engine patient. It was causing some issues and stuff like that. And we're finally ready to really have a brand that's a little bit more relevant. So at the time we said, all right, whatever, let's call it what it is. And let's just go after and be the best we can be. Right. So the brand's definitely going to change here pretty soon. I'm super excited for this process, but it was, you know, it kind of happened overnight.
The name?
Yeah, we're going to change the name.
Interesting.
When's the name drop happening? Because the podcast might drop after, so maybe you could drop the exclusive.
We're still in the process.
Okay.
We're in between a couple ideas, but we want a name that reflects our value for our clients and value for our team. And we do feel like, you know, patient is more of a medical term in its sense, which can tell you how many people just don't read. So we do work with medical clinics, and they call their clients patients, but we also work with aesthetics providers who just call them clients or customers.
Yeah.
So I think I think that our new brand is going to be a little bit more reflective of who we are as a company, where we're going, our mission and vision, all that good stuff. So
Nice.
that's the brand.
The real good stuff.
The real good stuff.
The stuff that we all think is like lame and like useless until you get more into business. You start realizing like those are the things that matter. I was talking about this in our boardroom meeting yesterday. I was like, dude, when I used to like pay people, like, I mean, I still do.
I don't pay anyone now. No, I'm just
Yeah, I mean,
I'm over that.
My money stays where it is. No, I've spent
Sweat equity.
I spend too much money on events and masterminds, honestly. But it's all good. Totally worth it. But
It all comes around.
it all comes around, and like even just like the knowledge and the connections, like it's just stupid not to pay for shit. But anyway, so basically,
That's what Neo said. He said, "There's no transaction. There's no transformation." What did he say?
yeah, that's it. No transaction.
No transaction. There's no transformation.
Facts, though. Facts. Anyways, I used to pay people, and then I'd be like, for example, I'd pay you $50K for a day. I'll pay you $10,000 for a weekend, whatever it is. Let me just go see your business. Let me hang out with you for a day or two. Great. Every time, it's like the first 2-3 hours is like, hey, let me tell you about our core values and our mission statement and our vision. And I'm like, dude, I'm fucking done, bro. I flew here for this. Like, I'm trying to learn, like, how do you set up your content team? Like, what do your finances look like? Like,
Show me your org chart, bro.
Yeah, exactly. No, that's exactly what I want to
sauce.
see. Yeah, I'm like, what the fuck? I don't give a fuck about this, bro. This is boring. Like, whatever. Like, fucking learn that in kindergarten. But the more I did it, the more I realized everyone was like, this is what we're gonna talk about first. And I'm like, oh, okay. I think that's kind of where we started shifting as a company too, because there's a clear point where we're like, okay, we need core values. We've done this long enough, fucking around and just doing a good job.
We're actually going through that process right now, and I can't tell you how important it is, because it does allow the team to actually have to buy into you and what you do and who you are,
or the company itself.
And right. it's just good to kind of like set your North Star, like with any kind of relationship, even like, figuring out like, hey, what the path that we're on, like, are we all aligned? Are we going towards the same destination? Because if not, like, great, that's cool, but we need to like know that so that we're all moving in the same direction,
Yeah,
it's like the intangibles.
I think it's super important. I think to be able to properly articulate to your team, like, this is who we are. This is what we're doing. This is what differentiates us from competitors, right? Even you never know actually who in your company can bring you new business as well, right? So my old boss, who's a great mentor of mine, he said, we got to have everyone sells culture, and that means selling directly or indirectly, because you're going to represent your company in one way or another. Maybe somebody's got a friend who works at a company who could be a potential client. They got to be able to articulate who they work for, what the company does, how is it different, those key things, and what's their target audience, right? The typical kind of brand strategy. So we're going through that process right now, because for us, it's super important, like having an insanely good team that's also like a bunch of good human beings, right? And mostly everyone that we've hired came internally referred. So we have family members working together. We have 2 sisters that work together. So for us, it's like when you join the company, you join a family, right? And the family's key characteristics are X, Y, and Z. And I think the core values is super important. And a lot of people start with that, right? And that's maybe part of their sweet sauce too.
100%. So you started this company. It was you and your partner, sounds like, because you said
it was
Let's Go Brand.
So at that point, it was just me.
Okay.
I was just me by myself.
Chicago still? Okay.
Yeah, Chicago still, just cranking an apartment.
How old were you at the time?
This was about 2.5 years ago, so I was about 30.
Nice-ish.
Something like that. I don't even know.
Neal's like secretly like 55.
The other day, I swear to God, I forgot how old I was. I swear to God, I blanked out.
I've done it before.
I was talking to my CFO, and I was like, no, bro, I'm 27 turning 28. He's like, no, you're 28 turning 29. I'm like, I don't think so, bro. I think I'm turning 28. He's like, no, you're turning 29. And like, we sat there fighting, and I just like, we had to go back and count the years. We're like, okay, 94, 95. And I just went on like on the hands until I got to 28. And he's like, see, you're 28. I'm like, fuck, man.
On my birthday, I posted, this is 34 in my story. And I'm like, I'm not. So I was like, I'm deleting it. I'm not even posting.
Yeah.
I don't even post.
So funny.
Yeah. So I was about 30 or so, and then basically I had to learn everything. Right. I learned how to do ads. How'd
you get your first client?
Good question. Paid ads.
Really?
Paid ads. Yeah.
That's fucking crazy. So you
What was
probably
the ad?
learned from Joel before you did that then.
Sorry?
Did you learn from Joel before you did that? Because that was like Joel's thing, like run ads.
So when we had our creative agency, it was relationships. It was all relationships. But for my marketing, for Patient Engine, it was paid ads. I just basically, I think I put in $1,000 and I went to work. I had a guarantee on my offer. And honestly, at that point, it was just flying by the seat of the pants and just like, all right, let's try to deliver this. So I was doing the sales, the account management. It was just me for, I think, about like 6 months. It was just me. I think I scaled by myself probably to like $30K a month. So I got like probably 10 clients, 15 clients in like 6 months. No, like 3 months. And then I was all right, I just got to hire somebody. So I hired a team to white label my ads, and then I went to work, right? And I was like, all right, I think we got a good thing going. You know, we're doing like $30K a month. So I think in 7 months, we went to about $100K. And
7 months from the time you
from
hired?
inception.
From inception.
Yeah.
Dude, that's fast.
Yeah. So then it was,
And it was just you in the white labeling, or
yeah.
how did the team
So
go?
100K came. I think it was like 30 or 40K. It was me by myself. At that point, I was 16-hour days, 6 months. Sacrifice.
People don't understand how fucking hard it is to manage like full stack, like 15, 20 clients. It's fucking insane. I was slowly dying inside, and you know, I have to say, like, my relationship suffered at the time. Like, I was sacrificing a lot, and at the time, I can't even tell you how important it is to have a partner who understands where you're coming from and actually help them understand where you're going. So I know you and your wife have a common mission and goals, and that makes things a lot easier. At that time, I didn't have that, and now I know. At the same time, it definitely didn't help, but I had a grander vision in mind at that point. So 16-hour days, no social life, 6 months of just grind. It was like, dude, if I already have no social life and I'm not doing anything, why not move to Blue Ridge, Georgia? The perfect place to fit my lifestyle.
I'm a lot more balanced now.
When did you actually make that move?
5 months ago.
Oh, okay, nice.
Yeah.
And you built a house there.
I did.
Sweet.
I did.
That's
yeah, I'll talk about that a little bit.
Yeah.
It's a cool journey and story, and there's a lot of jokes there. But so I think it was about 30K a month or so. I decided to start hiring people, and
who'd you hire first?
So
manager,
white label first for ads. That was kind of our first, you could say, external hire, and then an account manager. Right. And then after we hired an account manager, that's when we started to build our lead conversion team. And like everybody else, we're like, hey, let's outsource this. Let's try that. Of course, failed. Right. Doesn't work. People in America want to talk to people in America. That's it. At some point, we're probably going to have robots that talk to people in America, but
what's the Google thing where you can have your Google Assistant like call and make a reservation for you? It's wild. I forget what it's called, but there's that's already
get the fuck
existing.
Out. Get the fuck out. What?
On the Google Pixel phone, you can ask the Google Assistant to like call a hair place and like make you a reservation, and you can play back the recording later and listen to the Google Assistant make the reservation for you.
Like, that's fucking insanity.
It's wild. It's wild.
Fuck.
And it's live. Like, you can do that right now.
Dude, I bet you right now we would all get...
Actually, no. It's not even just on the Google Pixel phone, because I tried it the other day, and it worked.
Dude, I feel like we're at a point where, like, technology can outsmart us over a call. Like, someone could easily... AI could call from my friend's phone to me And I would be convinced for 5 minutes that that was them and get off the call and be like, yeah, bro, we talked about this earlier.
That's why you're in Do Not Disturb.
Exactly. I just don't take the calls. I don't fuck with that shit.
This is a super sidebar for a second, but I was listening to this podcast recently where he was talking about how we're going to need a like unified proof of personhood, he called it. Like every piece of content, like, because the deep fakes will be so good, the AI voices will be so good, there'll be some way that you'll have to like stamp things that like it's like NFT. A proof, like on the blockchain somehow, like a proof of a personhood. Like this is a real person. This really happened. This really was said on this date, this time. Like it's gonna get nuts.
That's kind of annoying. I'm glad.
That's why I moved to Blue Ridge. You just have to limit who you interact with.
No proof of personhood needed there. We all know each other by name around here. That's Neal up there on the hill.
That's right. Neal up there. Hell yeah.
Yeah. I got my name.
Neal Karski up there on that hill.
Hey.
Amazing.
Account
manager. Account manager was first hire.
Account manager.
Like account manager, he's like, did you know you could book your restaurant using AI?
Your account manager.
There's so much you can automate, honestly. There's so much you can automate. People still like working with people. We have a pretty good sophisticated lead conversion automation. And I think at some point we're trying to figure out if we can get booked appointments all the way through without using humans. Right. Mm-hmm. And we decided people have questions that require a in-depth conversation and not just like where are you located or what are your prices, etc. But people want to have that human touch and that affection and caring and understanding. So what we did is I actually hired one of my friends who I had known.
Does he still work with you?
She does.
Nice.
She's kind of the OG. And she became our first lead conversion specialist. We call them appointment closers. She was excellent. So we kind of had a nice thing going. We knew, okay, clients did not want to do lead generation lead nurturing at that point. And we knew we were going to do it better. She introduced me to another gal who basically did lead conversion for an actual spa. And I was like, holy shit. This is God speaking right now. Like this is, you're at the right place at the right time. So I was like, okay, coming over and work with us. And I think she was on pause working at the spa because the lockdown was going on. So I was like, all right, you want to come over and work with us? We're actually building out this team right now. She's like, yeah, Neal, but I'm looking for something more. Like if I'm coming to work with you, I want a growth path. And I was like, damn. It's like, how many people come to you and they're like, I want a growth path. And so I was like, what are your ideas? She gave me some of her ideas. I basically put in our agreement. I said, this is your growth path. These are your KPIs and some targets. We're a startup. There's going to be a lot of moving pieces. But if you can really crush it, I think you're going to do really well here. And now she's our director of operations. And she went from 0 to 100 in a year, So I think it's a really amazing story that when you present your mission to somebody and they buy into it and they want to become a part of your success, I think it's going to be a win-win. So she like outworked everybody and really crushed it. So
dude, Skylar, I put you in that boat, my guy. Skylar put 4Media Marketing in his bio before we even sent a job offer.
He was pumped.
He was fucking thrilled.
Damn.
And he lived up to his hype. I was like, this guy better be fucking insane.
What'd you put as your title there, Skylar?
Content creator.
Content. You should have put like the best content creator.
I would have probably not hired him. Honestly.
He puts it in his Instagram bio, the best content creator at 4Media Marketing. Just shows up first day. Everyone's just like, who the fuck is this guy?
Savage at 4Media.
Yeah. but it's cool because he lived up to the hype though. He came in and he fucking...
Isn't that amazing?
He embodies our core values.
When people actually come in and they talk a big game, but then they deliver.
Very rare occurrence.
Yeah.
It's typically like the silent killers. The people you're like, okay, let's see what he's got, and they fucking blow it out. And the guy that's always just talking himself up and going back and forth on salary and stuff. It's like, okay, you're not really as good as you say you are.
So account manager, not just director of ops. I mean, you kind of skip from like 10 clients to like 150. So like, what happened in between?
So we invested a lot in paid ads, a lot of money every single.
What's the biggest month you spent on paid ads?
Probably like $20K.
Okay.
Which to us, like we had a really good closing rate, and
you didn't need to spend more.
No, we didn't.
Yeah.
So we were spending 10 to 20K a month. We were getting a ton of referrals, which is started happening.
Great sign.
Pretty fast. The biggest thing is, and I tell my clients it all the time when they actually listen, is ask for referrals. Such a simple thing to do. Ask for referrals. When a client is happy, ask for referrals. Joel does a really good job at that. He's like, when a client's happy, or when somebody he's coaching, he's asking for referrals. He knows. But that's what we did a good job on. We got client results, testimonial, referral, and we incentivize clients to give us referrals. We give them bonus ad spend in their campaigns and kind of make them feel special. So we started doing, so those were two kind of key marketing strategies. And then we partnered with some strategic partners, and that helped us a long way as well. So right now, key marketing strategies, social media outreach, still huge, still works. Paid ads, strategic partnerships, referrals, and we've started to invest in conferences a lot as well. Next year, I think I'm going to be at like 7. So
we just did that. Are you subscribed to our letters?
Agency letters?
Yeah.
The secret letters?
Yeah.
I don't think I am.
You're spying on us. I wrote a segment like a few months ago. I was like, we're going to go hard on conferences, and we did. Like hard. We spent like $40K a month on conferences the last 4 months.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's great. And good ROI?
Good ROI. I mean, we know which ones are good and which ones are bad.
I feel like it's also,
net positive though.
I feel like the local lead gen ones are even better. It seems like.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
E-com ones are a little tougher because a lot of the events that you're at too, like there's other agencies there and stuff too. So it's like,
and it's just it's a crowded space a little bit more than like, cool sculpting. Like if you go to a cool sculpting conference, you'll probably pound out 15, 20 clients. Like we just went to a automotive conference, and like every day they're closing someone. It's like from the conference. So definitely local. And even when they went to Orlando for another local business one, they came out with like 12 clients from like a day with a table and like a thing behind them.
Yeah, I think conferences, serve 3 main purposes. Obviously, brand awareness for your company. 2, client acquisition. And 3, for us, it was also spending time with our referral partners or strategic partners. And
there's a number 4 though.
Is there?
Yeah, market research.
Ooh,
a lot of times you go to conferences and like, yes, we want to sell people, but like you don't realize after having so many conversations with people, you realize what their like other problems are.
That's cool, man, but I really wish that you just had this one little thing because no one else got that.
And then like 50 people tell you that, and at the end you're like, bro, we really need that one little thing because that thing would have fucking closed 50 guys today. You know what I mean? And like going back and like tweaking your product based on that, because like it's different when you're like having sales conversations over a Zoom call, but when you're like at a conference and you're talking for like 15, 20 minutes, sometimes 30, 45 minutes, it's like they start giving you the problems that they don't give you on a sales call because it's just a Zoom call and they're trying to get off because they don't want to pay or whatever the case is. You know what I mean? But when it's a conference and they're a little more loose, maybe they had a couple drinks, they're definitely
chatting
more
it
loose.
up.
Exactly.
They've had a million conversations already, so they're already kind of past the small talk. They're ready to like actually talk
like
about
even
real
people
stuff.
that like we couldn't close, we'd just be like, what's your biggest problem that like someone could solve? And then they'd tell us, and like we'd start gathering that, and at the end of the day, you talk to like 200, 300, 400 people at the end of the day, and you all get together and you're like, so well, what did you guys learn today? And they're like, oh, dude, if fucking we had this one thing, that would be crazy. And like, dude, everyone's telling me the same thing too. And it's like, okay, we need that thing. So tomorrow, let's advertise that we have that thing. We'll fucking make it next week.
No, that's a fair point. I think also just huge social proof, right? I know that like when you guys go to conferences, you said we got to figure out which ones are the good ones, which ones are the bad ones. Then you know what to invest to and not invest to. I know we're gonna try to speak at some conferences next year and sponsor and all that stuff. And I think, in our niche, I think it's a little bit, like you said, less convoluted. So I think we have an opportunity to become a leading name as far as agencies. I don't think the last conference I went to, there wasn't a lot of, I think we're the only agency there. And I was kind of surprised. I would say the conference in itself didn't generate an immediate ROI. We got a few clients from it, but
if they see you there again,
I think it's brand awareness, social proof. They're going to know we're kind of a pioneer in the industry. And like I said, we got to spend time with a big strategic partner of ours. And then it came out a conversation of, hey, we have a franchise that we're pitching. You guys want to go in this franchise? This could potentially be a massive deal for us. So to me, definitely worth it.
I'm gonna give a fucking fire ass tip actually for expos. We do this at every expo we go to, and it always nets us an ROI. Do you know what I'm?
No.
No. Okay,
once you say it, I'll probably recognize it.
Yeah. I showed you what I was doing, but basically what I do.
I do know.
Yeah. If it's big enough, if it's like 100 people in this fucking room, like it's not worth it. But if you're going to an expo with like
a lot of people,
1,000, 2,000, 3,000 people, whatever,
an
like 10,000 people, an expo. Basically, we geofence the parking lot and the conference center, and we run ads all 5 days of the conference from our company page with a photo of us standing at our booth with like the booth number on the bottom in like big bold white letters, like, booth 3941, like, and we talk about our product. And bro, every day, hundreds of people, man, I seen you guys somewhere, and I just can't put a finger on where. What do you guys do? Hey, I saw you on my social media somewhere. I think maybe because I was like, walked by your booth or something the other day. I
have no idea how it works.
No one has any fucking clue, but they're all like,
must have Googled you or
like,
something.
I have to come fucking learn what
who do you guys send to conferences?
Now I've made a decision that I'm only sending like sales guys.
Fair enough. Were you attending before?
I definitely. I'm the biggest ROI at a conference, bro. I'm just too good at sales. Like, put me in a booth and I'm fucking slinging deals.
Honestly, Eddie is the best sales guy I've ever met. Respect. Like honestly, not even just blowing smoke up your ass. Like you're a really good salesman.
Thanks.
Like
that's a big compliment.
You close a lot of people, and I feel like you do it in a way that is making the people just feel like you're like consulting them. You know what I mean?
I never close anymore.
Yeah, exactly. You don't do the like cheesy like salesy type shit. They're just like, oh yeah, obviously if I want to grow my business, I should just work with this guy because he knows what he's talking
natural.
about.
Exactly. At this point, it's just experience.
Yeah, and so like at expos or events, it's just like the same type of thing.
I just actually hired my first sales guy like 2 months ago.
Respect. Wow. You've been doing the sales?
I was doing the sales and CEO. It was a lot.
Well, hard to pass on. All right, let me brief you on what's gonna happen.
He's doing well.
Tamper your expectations. He's never gonna do as good as you.
Oh yeah, I know that. But
okay, cool. I just want to make sure we're all on the same page because it's
hard to hand that off,
dude. It was so hard to hand that off, and like I just knew. I'm like, man, I want to have an 8-figure business. Can't be the CEO and do sales. It's impossible. Time is a finite resource. And I enjoyed it. I just enjoyed talking to people. I think the reason why we had such good retention too is because they got to meet with the CEO right away and I had a good relationship with them. The downside of it was
text messages.
Yeah, they your buddy
instead of an account manager, they would go to me for stuff, and it was the transitional.
It was only the problem stuff too. Yeah. It's like, hey, I'm talking to John over here, and we're having some trouble.
That's why the do not disturb was great.
Yeah.
As long as you set those boundaries pretty clear, you can kind of avoid some of it. But yeah, some people definitely end up getting pretty like buddy, and then it's just like fine.
If they're referring me clients.
Sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
Text me all day, every day.
You're my second sales guy.
Let's go to dinner. Yeah. What? It's 11 o'clock. You want to have a drink? Yeah.
Yeah.
They live in Blue Ridge.
I'm driving down from Blue Ridge. It might be a couple hours.
What's the nearest airport? Like Virginia? Like how the fuck's
Chattanooga.
Is it Chattanooga?
Yeah.
Like how do you fly into Chattanooga? I feel like nowhere flies into Chattanooga. You've got to come to Atlanta and then back to Chattanooga. Like, there's no way.
Actually, there's a flight from Atlanta to Chattanooga, which is like 20 minutes. But yeah,
it's like barely shorter than just driving to the Atlanta airport.
It's actually probably shorter if you take out TSA and everything.
Dude, it's crazy. Yeah, you just like get there and it's 30 seconds and you're at your gate because there's 5 gates. And it's like, there's like Atlanta, Phoenix, Chicago, I don't know, a couple other spots.
That's about it.
It's
Maybe
great.
Like Austin sneaks its way in there or something.
Yeah, it's great.
That's awesome.
But the flights there are all empty. That's the problem. It's only outbound.
Atlanta airport's a mess. Flying out of there tomorrow morning at 6:15 a.m. So
that's not that bad.
Have fun.
Yeah. Did you fly in here or you drove here?
No, I drove here.
Yeah.
I drove here.
Okay.
But I'm going to Hawaii tomorrow. So this is, we're
Chattanooga
celebrating.
doesn't fly to Hawaii. That's for sure.
No, it's like 4 flights to get there.
But we were talking about you hired your first sales guy. That was the
Yeah, I think like I was saying, I think part of the reason that we had such good retention was because I was able to get relationships with my clients, and if they needed help with like strategic coaching stuff, I was always there for them. And it was just too much, obviously, and it wasn't sustainable. So we obviously had account managers and all that stuff, but finally found a good person I could trust that I feel like I could coach to ultimately, I want to say, become better than me in a sense. Like no one's ever going to be as bought in because it's my business. And I hate missing forecast. I hate it. I'll do whatever the fuck I need to do to hit forecast, right? And I've missed forecast, I think, once this year, and I was pissed. So I was like, let's add these client targets on to the next month, right? Let's make up for it. But so I'm investing a lot of my time into coaching this person, and he had a good first full month. But yeah, I think I probably closed like 250 clients last year and a half or so, and I learned a lot. I think I got told 30 times no before I got my first yes. And I always tell that story because it's so important. It's like, never fucking give up. It's like, there's somebody who's going to want your service, right? And then you're going to find more people like that person. And then you got to figure out what makes people say yes and then do more of that. Simple.
For sure. How many people do you guys have now?
Our total staff count is about 28, 29
That's
or so.
a pretty big team, bro.
Yeah.
That's solid.
We got a few assistants. We got our biggest team is our lead conversion team because it's the most important probably
appointment
aspect.
setters.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's huge. It's huge because we've trained clients on how to do that, and we have some successful clients who are actually like putting in the work, but most of the time we're doing it for them.
So how are you paying these appointment setters?
They're paid per account, per appointment closed plus bonus.
Okay. Is the bonus per appointment closed?
The bonuses are performance related. So they're basically appointments closed over the phone, like deposit taken over the phone. We pay them for conversion rates, like lead to appointment conversion rates, call times, stuff like that. So we're constantly, I think this is so important. I think we're constantly looking into how we can help all our teams make more money. Like,
you have to be.
It's
really more important than looking at how to grow the business, because like that does result in growing the business. How can I get everyone on my team to make more money? Okay, I have to change my business structure. I have to change my business pricing. I have to get more clients. I have to change the system. I have to do something in order to achieve that. And every time I hit a roadblock of thinking about my team and thinking, damn, I actually can't pay any of these people more, that's a problem. What do I need to change? What kind of contracts do I need to start structuring? How can I change it? And like Andrew's seen this because he's seen it from the beginning. Like I'm always like leveling up our offer game and our profitability game and all those things on the back end because it's the only way to achieve that. Like I always get stuck in this trap of like, and I think a lot of people do, is like, cool, I gave this person $5,000 a month. Great, cool. I'll, a year from now, they'll be at 6, example. And then you get to a year from now and you're like, oh my God, we hired more people. And like the system hasn't changed. It's just like more bloated. And the percentages might be a little less, but total, like I still don't have enough to give this person more with all these other people. And then it starts shifting your framework of like, okay, I have to change the business. Like, what do I need to change in the business? Is it our price? Is it what we deliver? Are we over-fulfilling for something that we should be under-fulfilling so that we can handle more with less stress and take on more money? And there's just like so many pieces.
And ultimately, your margins will come down, right?
It has to happen.
They will come down, and it's okay. That's a sacrifice any business owner should be willing to take to keep your employees happy, because it's going to help you retain them. It's going to, you know, for us, it's in a service-based business, right? It's directly impacting client results.
So, question. You said account managers have to be like American, right? Like great English.
Or at least the people that...
Appointment closers.
Oh, okay. I was about to ask appointment closers.
All of our account managers are U.S.-based,
okay.
too.
Are all your appointment closers U.S.-based, too?
Correct.
And you can find people who are closing appointments for that low of a price?
Well, total comp is actually pretty good.
Really?
Yeah. Like, it's decent.
Like what?
It's decent.
I'm asking for a number.
Ballpark.
Not a ballpark, a number. Yeah.
We've had our appointment closers do anywhere from like 40 to 70K.
Okay. But 40K makes sense. 40K is 3.4K a month, 3.3K a month.
Yeah.
That makes sense as an American salary. What I'm trying to say is, for that price, can you get someone who's a really sick closer who's going to help you? Like, that's my dilemma, is that break. I can get a lot of talented people for 40, 50K. Very talented people, but a very talented salesperson, slightly different.
Yeah, so these people are on the fulfillment side of things, but obviously my sales guy is making a lot more just because his impact is massive, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So,
but their impact is massive to the businesses, right?
Right. That's why I was saying we're constantly looking at ways, especially for all teams. It's like, if you're directly impacting the bottom line with your ability to deliver consistent results and help us retain clients, then we're going to consider a strategy on how we can pay you more money. Like, whether that means basically giving up some of our margin, or whether that's finding new ways for you to contribute to client results and therefore making more money.
So how much does a client pay you?
$2,000 agency fee
plus
appointment closer commissions.
Okay, that's the question I'm asking. Okay, plus ad spend. Okay, cool. So let's just take 2K. How much is an appointment closer commission?
$19 per appointment, plus account salary, plus bonuses.
I don't understand that.
Per account managed salary.
I'm talking to the client.
Okay.
Not the bonus.
Client just pays $19 per appointment.
Oh, really? That's it?
Yeah.
And what do you pay lead conversion guy out of that 19?
It pass through.
Okay.
Plus, I pay the appointment closers per account management fee plus bonuses.
And that total adds up to somewhere between 40 and 70.
Right.
I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Damn, they must be closing a lot of appointments for.
They're closing a lot of appointments. Our appointment closers probably do, I want to say on the low end, 20%, to some do like 35%.
Which is total. Wow. How many total appointments a month? 50, 100?
So average client of ours probably gets anywhere from 15 to 30 appointments a month. So.
And they manage 5?
They're managed like 10 to 12.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Mainly text though, right?
Text, calls, emails.
Anything.
Yeah. However they get the appointments. We do have a really good like lead nurturing and automation system set up in place. We're constantly looking for ways to support them. And so between that and shooting out campaigns to your pipeline, I think they do pretty well. I think as far as lead conversion goes, we have a solid competitive advantage.
So 10 to 15 accounts managed per person.
Yeah, like some of them.
I'm asking
choose to
for
do
my own
less.
curiosity because it's something I'm implementing right now on our local business side for the automotive.
Right. So
Back to
like
that problem,
I would say like obviously it's going to vary on lead flow, right? But 10 to 12 I think is healthy for them to do well, right? Anything more than that, it's also like having a knowledge of every single client and
No, I
you start to
totally
hit the
understand
number
it.
of not.
No,
Yeah.
I think 10 is like the ceiling. That's why I'm impressed that 12 was the ceiling here, or like the beginning of the ceiling. Because I mean, 10 to 12 not the biggest difference, I guess. But I was kind of gauging with my team today. And I was like, we should probably start someone at like 5 and then bring him up to like 10 accounts.
That's what we do. We basically train him for a month, shadow, and then we put him on a couple accounts, 2 to 3. Honestly, actually, recently, I think what my team, that team's been doing is we actually been throwing them to like 3 to 5, and just see how they do, and really kind of monitor their activity in their first month. That's just a pivotal month, right?
It's like, what's the play here with this business? Like, are you trying to cash flow forever? Are you trying to sell the business? Are you like, what's the goal?
I've been thinking about that a lot. I think did you guys read the book Scale with Speed?
I don't read books.
I know Felix personally.
Oh, I saw that recently. We can talk about books a little bit today.
But yeah, I know Felix personally.
Yeah,
the guy who wrote the book.
Yeah.
How'd you hear about the book?
My buddy Stevie, he's got an agency as well.
Stevie Johnson.
Yeah,
he's a man.
Yeah,
came to Agency Founders.
Yeah. He's a good dude. He's a good buddy of mine. He said, "Hey, just read this." It was awesome. So I was like, "All right, fuck it." I went to Amazon.
Is it a good book? I've never read it. It's
a good book.
I listened as Felix give me the talk of how the concept works. But
yeah. I think it's just reinforces a lot of principles that you should implement in your practice. But basically, the overarching thing was find your purpose in the company. So for right now, it's cash flow. It's just building a really healthy, sustainable company, just because I love what I do and I love my team. I think we're making a difference. We're able to, I run a nonprofit in Chicago as well. We're able to sponsor our gala. So there's a lot there, and we're helping a lot of people. And I feel like our runway is super long because we captured probably 1 to 2% of the market, and
it's growing.
It's growing. There's not a lot of competitors who I feel like have, the team we have, the systems. We have guaranteed results. Like, it sounds cheesy nowadays, but we actually have contractually guaranteed results, which is, in today's day and age, I feel like it's almost necessary, right?
So if I slid you a check for $5 million cash right now, you wouldn't take it for your company?
How many drinks in? I don't know if that's a good enough multiple, Eddie.
It definitely is. I'm very involved in that. It definitely is. But it's more the principle, like, because I've been offered $10 million for 4 Media. I've said no. This was a year ago. We're worth probably more at this point. But, like, in my eyes, it was worth more. In the market's eyes, that guy was overpaying. Do you get what I'm saying?
Sure.
Because I understand where we're trying to go and what the runway is. And, like, I personally, at least, have no desire to sell. Like, even Scale with Speed, Felix, like, him and his partners were like trying to get me to get rolled up into like this giant agency of like big players that they're building. And I was like, dude, like, they're like, this is like the most impressive shit we've ever seen. I'm like, I appreciate it, like, but we'll be friends because I don't plan on selling. They're like, just give us a price and like we can. I'm like, no, it's just not. I don't even want to explore, because I know if someone came to me and said, here's $30 million, it's one thing to talk about it, but if the check is on the table, it's a lot more intimidating to, like, you start thinking about your kid, your wife, the people who have built this business with you. Dude, if I collected $30 million, how much could I pay out everyone? Like, how much could I pay the people who have been here for me the longest? And like, how much would 150K to this person, 200K to this person, 100K to this person change their life? You know what I mean? So it's different when there's a check there. So sometimes, like, I don't know, you really gotta be strong in some sense, unless it's like an offer that's so ridiculous and you have to evaluate, your family and your needs and what you could do with that money to build more. That's different. You know what I mean? But I'm just kind of rambling here, but it's just more the concept of, like, it's different when someone slides you a check. Like, you're like, oh, the multiple's not great. I probably slide you 3 in a cash check, and you go back to your girl and you say, damn, what can we do with $3 million over the next 2 years?
Right.
You know what I mean? So
I think that it's always good to understand, put yourself in a position where you feel like you could be comfortable to retire, and then you ask yourself, would I be comfortable here? And most entrepreneurs who are successful would say no. Like, I want to keep building.
But is it about retiring?
I want to keep growing.
Or is it about having money to go do other things with it too?
No, I'm just saying conceptually, like a mental exercise.
You're never gonna fucking retire. You might. You're a Blue Ridge guy now. I don't understand your type. But like, my dad was like, dude, I think I said this on an earlier podcast. I want to say it was with like Neo, but like he's like, dude, like I was like, when are you gonna stop working? He's like, when you guys like make enough money to like retire me. I'm like, dude, like you're good, bro. I'm running a company. Like, it's already bigger than your company. So like, what? I don't understand. I don't understand the math. You know what I mean? Like, we've passed that point that you've talked about. So technically, like, you don't have to do shit. I was like, Dad, if I gave you $10 million cash right now, not that I have it, I'm just saying, if I gave it to you, I'd fucking find you working tomorrow morning. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not gonna be able to stop you from working because you can't
take the fight out
bored.
of the bull.
That's really what it is. You're just gonna get fucking bored.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
So finding meaning and purpose through your work is super important, right? I've done a lot of mentoring for college students, and I was like, I can't believe you're fucking paying this much money for college. Like,
you're like, let me open by saying, get the fuck out right now.
I'm like, I just paid this shit off.
Right? You're like,
but anyways.
And I've been working 16 hours by myself.
Anyways, don't tell your fucking professors that I said this, but find something that you're good at that interests you. And you're going to find it at a point where that intersects, you're going to be happy. And it doesn't have to be like, I mean, I'm a 6'6" white guy in body sculpting marketing. The fuck does that mean?
They're like, can you sculpt me to be taller?
Right.
Like, sculpt
you know
me
what
up.
I'm saying? Like, you know, I mean, you could say I played basketball. I was always into fitness and all that stuff, and maybe that paved the way.
No, there's no fucking relation whatsoever.
Right. Bro. So ultimately, you're finding.
But at the same time, to be fair, you didn't find something that you really like and you're really good at. You just found something that you found a problem that you can give a solution to. I don't think you're truly fucking over the moon ecstatic about cool sculpting.
We don't do cool sculpting. It's
body sculpting.
We do everything, but cool sculpting is
bullshit.
No, I just think there's been a lot of negative press around it. It's kind of a hard thing to market in itself. There's a lot of intricacies.
It falls under body sculpting.
Yes, we stay away from it.
So what's under the body sculpting umbrella?
I mean, there's a lot of non-invasive like fat reduction procedures. Like there's things with cryo, there's things with radio frequency, ultrasound. Like there's many different things.
But all unnatural sculpting of the body.
It's non-invasive.
No, I agree. But that's not what I'm saying. I understand that. I've seen friends do the procedures. I'm just saying it's not natural.
What's natural, Eddie?
Sweating.
Are phones natural? Is a beaver dam natural?
Yeah, I mean, it's a convenient vehicle for sculpting.
I'm just saying, are you actually passionate about it? Like, all things aside, I'm not saying you're not the fucking
I will get,
best of the
I will
best
get there. I'm gonna get there. I'm gonna get there. You're on the right path. You're on the right path. So basically, I teach these guys to say, find something that you're good at. Do you like folding clothes? I don't know. Do you like telling people what to do? Do you like being told what to do? Do you like in your subjects? Do you like reading or do you like writing? Do you feel like you're interested in more things business or you're interested in more things, science, stuff like that? And you can actually decipher where a person wants to go and also based on their personality type. So I tell them, find something you're good at, find something that you're going to be interested in. That's where you're going to find happiness. For me, I like building stuff. I think understanding your whys is super important, right? So my 3 whys, building things, helping people, and travel, right? That's travel/curiosity, adventure, nature, all that stuff. That falls into one. So for me, I like building things. So that's why I was like, all right, I'm going to build a company, right? I feel like playing basketball too, you get super competitive. You learn how to lead. So I always envisioned myself in a place where I could lead, have impact, and help people, right? So people are always asking me like, hey, you're in body sculpting and aesthetics marketing. What does that mean to you really? Well, for me, it's like, one, internally, I'm helping people by helping them actually materialize in their jobs, right? And grow as a person, right? I'm developing people. We're employing VAs from other countries who are, struggling basically all the time. So we're giving them a nice salary and employing them. And, it's not a revolutionary thing to do, but it's to these people, it's a lot, right? It's very intentional and purposeful. So we're helping these people, we're helping them and their families internally, right? And we're helping them hopefully on a growth path to something bigger. So there's purpose right there. And on the side of the clients, I teach my clients, I said, hey, a lot of people are going to come to you for this non-conventional kind of convenience procedure that's body sculpting. Why don't you help them with their mindsets and teach them other things they could do in holistic protocols and actually changing their lives? Because they're coming to you with one mindset, you can also help them and change that into something else. So we're not only helping small business entrepreneurs with client acquisition and growing their businesses, we're helping them actually produce better results for their clients and hopefully impacting their lives. So to me, that goes beyond like any niche. I don't know too many entrepreneurs, at least in my circle, who were like gung-ho about any niche when they were first starting out, right? They weren't like, I take Stevie. I don't know if he was like, oh, I fucking love neuropathy and like pain management, like get off on that shit, like
you find a hole in the market,
right?
You find
you're
a
just
product,
like,
you find a thing.
You find a niche and then you're like, you get to know that niche. You, like you said, you find the pain points and we're like, can I provide a solution that these people are gonna go for?
It reminds me of an automated retail commerce with Kendall and Robert. Like, you come to them and they're like, we're going to give you a business. You don't get a say in what it is. Like, you're going to get an e-commerce business, but we're just going to choose it for you. We've got all the market research. You're selling leggings. like, you don't really have much of a say, but you're selling leggings.
Dude, everything is a commodity.
Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah.
So it's what that commodity is going to do for you, and it's what is it going to do for those end users. That's what matters.
For sure. Yeah, and I mean, to echo the part that you were saying about giving people opportunities and stuff like that, like, I think it's interesting too, because I mean, I feel like in the agency space and kind of the online entrepreneur space and kind of just things that I feel like we're very familiar with, but maybe the rest of the world like isn't, is just the opportunities that are kind of leveling the playing field. Like, we've talked about this like a decent bit of times on the podcast, but the amount of opportunities that are being given to people overseas and they're proving themselves and they're getting better. Like, imagine like if this is kind of just round one of what, the traditional like VA model, you're thinking of someone in the Philippines that can do kind of like simple tasks for you. These people are getting very, very talented because the access to learning these skills is just the time being able to learn them and then actually just doing it more and more, putting in the reps. Like, there's no, and I feel like as, people in a more privileged country or whatever, like if we grew up in America, like we feel like we're owed a certain salary just because we can do a job. And it's like, no, dude, there's people out there fighting for your lunch, bro. Like, and there's like being able to integrate, I'm assuming your team is like pretty much all remote, right? Like, all remote. You don't have a home office in Blue Ridge. So,
I
do. Well, maybe you do. Well, is it a home office of one or two or
yeah? I think you're saying headquarters is what you meant.
That's what I meant.
Not a home office.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Home office meaning
people,
home base.
All 28 people.
You
come
mean
and hang out at my house?
Dude, you're joking,
office.
but there's people that do that.
Oh,
is there
for sure.
someone on here who did that? No.
I don't remember.
No. I was at a conference. This dude has fucking 12 employees, and it's him and his girl talking to me. They're about to get engaged. I'm like, cool. Like, what do you guys like? Are they all remote? He's like, oh no, they're all local. I'm like, okay, cool. Like, why you asked me if you should get an office? Like, you already have one. He's like, oh yeah, I mean, my house is my office. I'm like, what does that mean? Like, there's a basement that everyone goes to. He's like, no, there's like everyone's literally just like in my living room all day.
What?
I'm like,
that's
what?
Insane.
I looked at his wife and she's like, gave me this look like I want to die right now.
Imagine
like,
Terry, she would kill you.
No, what? I wouldn't even get that far. It's like she'd be like, me or them, pick.
Yeah. You need to be able to escape.
Possible, yeah.
Yeah. No, but yeah, like I think a lot of companies in the past weren't really set up to give remote employees really like an equal chance. It was always like an afterthought, or like, we need a very specialized person for this job. If they have to be remote, it's okay. We'll figure it out. They can jump on calls and blah, blah, blah. But like, I feel like now almost like the default is remote. So it's like, okay, then.
Well, we are moving backwards.
You think so?
100%.
How so?
because
we're going away from in-house.
We're remote. We're remote because the market forced us to be remote. But if the CEO, for the most part, I feel like not all, but like for the most part, got it their way in what was the best for their company culture and their business, etc., I do believe that people would want everyone to be in the office if possible. So I think now we're going to be in a place where jobs are not going to be as abundant. You can't balance multiple jobs at the same time like a lot of these people tried to do. And you're going to see a lot of people making a requirement to be in office. In our case, we're different because we're in a digital marketing agency world where like some dude in Nigeria who's really sick at building funnels is more valuable than some dude in Alpharetta who can come into the office who's not that great. You know what I mean? But
you're not wrong.
But a lot of other companies are not as digital as we are. And they are going to be removing a lot of the remoteness of their positions. I have friends in jobs who were working 4 days remote who are now only working 1 day remote, and I guarantee soon they'll be at 0 days remote because as the market shifts in the employer's favor of these perks, I guess.
Remote perks.
Yeah, just remote perks in general. Yeah. Or just like abundance of supply of jobs. You're going to start seeing that tighten up a lot more. And I think people are going to have to do more to get less from a company. And if you're in a company right now and you got a job and you got a secure salary, then you're pretty fucking stupid to try to leave and try to go do something else right now. I just don't think it's a good time for it. I think the people who have secure jobs, who have a good work environment, who can work hybrid, remote, and in office are the ones who are in a really good position to win the next 2 years. I don't know. I'm calling it. I might be totally wrong. 2024, we'll find out.
I think it's certainly a challenge to build a good remote culture, but it's something that we're up against and something we're taking on because, unfortunately, my employees are really spread out, and I made the decision to come to Blue Ridge so I could be closer to Eddie, obviously.
But, like, just far enough to, like, still be too far.
Yeah. So
2 hour flight or 2 hour drive, either way, it's 2 hours.
You can take your private plane and be there in 15 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but we're trying to.
You didn't fly in here on your plane though. You left it there.
That's right. That's right. My paper plane. So for us, it's like we're finding ways to. I'm always trying to find ways to get in front of my employees, and recently we had a gala for my nonprofit, and we sponsored. So everybody that it's in the Midwest, in Chicago and Wisconsin, we had them attend with their significant others, right? So it was a good way for us to connect. We've done some in-person team building, top golf, shooting guns in the desert, which is awesome.
Lovely.
Yes, it was great. Sick. It was me and like
we need to shoot some fucking guns at our boardroom retreat. Just like
it was great, and we had a competition. It was phenomenal.
Point them at each other, even.
None of that. So I think Q1 we're thinking about an in-person retreat for everybody as well. Get people together because every time we get together, it's always awesome, right? That in-person connection is
it's like a reunion almost.
Yeah, and we do monthly happy hours, Zoom happy hours. People win prizes as well. I think we did like a Halloween happy hour. Everybody, there was a costume contest and all that stuff, and the girls wrote like a aesthetics body sculpting murder mystery dinner, and that shit was super creative. Like I had a couple friends with me that just flew in. We're driving from Atlanta, and they're like, "Your team in this?" I'm like, I guess. Like this is amazing. Like it was like. They had names that was like Cryo Killer, like all that shit. And I was like, man, like I love that. I love that people are putting in, some of their time outside of work to actually buy into the culture of stuff. Cause that's super important. Like you got to like with the people that you work with, you have to.
Yeah, for sure.
Look, if you had to talk to someone who has an agency right now and you would say like, this is the one most important thing to do in your agency, what would it be?
Sign up for agency secret letters, I think, right?
$149 a month, baby.
Sponsored.
Besides doing agency founders in January, which is probably the most obvious one, which I think this will be released probably after.
I don't know. Yeah,
I'm so pissed. I'm going to Europe to see my family, and I fly back. I think on the 14th, which is right in the middle of that weekend.
Right at the end.
I might have to just push my flight back and just come to Nashville. Is it Nashville?
Nashville, bro.
Nashville.
Dude, it's gonna be sick.
And I can guarantee you, 100. I will put money.
You're gonna guarantee
100% money back guarantee that you were the tallest guy in the room. Fuck, how tall is Justin Kelsey?
Justin Kelsey's pretty tall, but I think he might be taller.
I think he might be taller. He's got an inch. He's got an inch at least.
I think Neal's got an inch for sure.
The shrimpies.
We're measuring hair down, but 100% money back guarantee.
All right.
That's a strong offer.
I love that. I'll invite one of my friends that's taller.
Fuck, we invite Bug, just giving you money back.
Why is Eddie giving Neal 10 G's in the fives? This is getting weird. So I would say for anybody with what was the question? Anybody who's looking to start an agency, has an agency,
has one, like currently actively has one. What's like the most important thing in your agency, like to do? Like you don't know anything about their business. You're just like, dude, if I was you, like this is something that I would focus on that you're probably not. That's gonna fucking change the game for you.
I would say a couple of things. One, offer a guarantee. It's huge. I think people nowadays have been burnt by so many other businesses, and the barriers to entry are pretty low. So, I mean, I can't tell you how many people I talk to or my sales guy talks to that's like, this company, they told me they worked with 1,000 plastic surgeons and body sculpting providers, and they've scaled this and that, and and I got 2 clients in 3 months, and I paid $10,000, right?
Jeez.
And it's like, I hear this all day, every day. So offer a guarantee, because people are going to trust you a lot more quickly than they would if you didn't have one. 2, growth now is the best way to hedge potential future downturns, right? So invest a lot now into ads. I think we're saying, hey, we're in an inflationary, recessionary environment. This term of inflation is killing us. There's a lot. I feel like a lot of business. I think you guys talked about this, but a lot of businesses are going to go out of business in the next couple of years.
They already are.
Right, they already are. It's getting more. It's getting more competitive, right? It's just, if you don't have cash in the bank, you don't have a good offering, you don't have a good stable client base, you're probably going to go out of business, and it's only going to get more competitive, right? So I think that investing now is huge, right? Get as many clients as you can now, because like I said, I tell my clients this all the time. Growth now is the best way to prevent future uncertainty or deal with future uncertainty.
Fire. Fucking fire. Growth now is the best way to hedge against future uncertainty.
Maybe not for FTX.
Yikes.
Take all your fucking money, put it in Bitcoin, and then forget about it.
Hey.
Actually, low-key not a bad strategy.
Low-key not
Look in like 10 years, not in like a month.
Yeah. Right. I mean,
long term you'll be good.
I think I put in like 40K at some point. I was just like, yeah, whatever.
He's like, now it's 2.
No, it's 20. It's 20. So
hey,
I'm sitting better than a lot of people. But
agreed.
You're
you just gotta figure out how far we're gonna zoom out.
So I'm just kidding.
If I showed you how much money if I showed you how much money I've lost, you would fucking cry, bro. Yeah, so you're in a great spot. Don't worry about
it. No, it's interesting. My cousin, who was my business partner in that creative agency, he's basically like, he actually had Bitcoin, like he mined a couple Bitcoins, like 6, I think, like back in the day, back in a fucking day,
back when you could.
He bought a house with Bitcoin, like I think it was at like
$300.
Yeah, 250.
Yeah,
like something like that.
Crazy.
And then my brother, on the other hand, we laugh about this all the time. He had a Bitcoin. He ordered a pizza with.
Stop.
Oh my God! For real, he did it.
To be fair, I bought a beer with it wasn't one at the time. Bitcoin was like 8,000 a piece, but like I bought a beer with Bitcoin in Thailand. That was pretty cool. That was like 2016.
You're like, yeah, this is so cool. I'm buying for digital currency.
I'm like, I scanned a QR code and I sent them through Binance, and I was like, this is sick. I just actually got a beer that I'm drinking from this digital currency that no one believes is gonna work.
The thing is, you can't kick yourself for it. It's like, it really hurts so bad to know that you could have just held on to it, but it's like anyone could have like held on to it or bought some at that point. It just sucks to know that if you would have not done that stupid thing, you could have so much
100%.
Yeah,
money.
and I think, especially in running a business or having being a leader in a business. It teaches you so much patience, not to make rash decisions like that. You have to move quick. Sometimes you have to move quick and do crazy shit, but it also teaches you to be a lot more patient and, not jump to conclusions so fast, like, especially we know in marketing, psychological impulses of human beings are wild, right? And attention spans are low, and there's a million fucking impulses that we're exposed to every single day. So you're like, you see something, you're like, oh my, just calm down.
Shiny object syndrome.
Just calm down. One of the biggest things I learned in running a business is how you react. That's probably a number one lesson. Like, we've had some really bad shit happen. We've had some really amazing things happen. More good things than bad things. But it's how you react to all of it, right? Good things happen. Congratulate yourself. Congratulate the team. Move on. Like, you're winning. Great. Don't fucking.
I think too many people want to celebrate for too long.
Yeah. Don't get overconfident. Like, it's just like, we, won a huge deal. All right, let's go to work. Good job. Like, keep doing more of it. And then the negative stuff, it's like, what's the worst thing that can happen? Really? Most of the time you're like, all right, we just got to pivot.
My life goes from an 8 to a 7. Like, fuck.
8 to a 5 for like a few hours. 8 to a 2 maybe. A few hours.
Right? Like, but even a 2, it's like, are you homeless? Are you like living on the street with no family, no friends, no one even loves you?
It goes back to
what I mean? Like, your life can only go so low. You know what I mean? Well, things can always get worse, is I guess what I'm trying to say. And like, I think Tim Ferriss in the 4-Hour Work Week, he talks about a concept where he's kind of saying like, what's the worst that can happen? You go and try this thing. Are you going to end up like homeless with no one that loves you and everyone, and you have $0?
Really
like
bad.
But in the scheme of trying to like do your own thing, it's like, even if you fail, is your life going to go to a 1 out of 10, or is it going to go to like a 5? Which still sucks if you were at an 8 or something, but like, it's like,
you can get back to an 8 pretty quick.
You can get back, so.
I have a question for you, Neal. Because here's how we wrap up these things. I think you're in a good mood for this. This is like the Neal's preaching facts mood. So we wrap up these podcasts with a fortune cookie. Like one piece. Have you heard these before or no?
No.
Okay, cool. So basically, I want you to give me, you can think on it for a second, like one piece of advice. Not for agency owners or anyone, just for people in general listening. If it was like 25-year-old Neal right now and you're talking to him and you're like, dude, here's like one thing that like if you really think about this and implement this and think this way, whatever it is, you're going to change the rest of your life and you're going to move in a different direction. It's absolutely going to impact you. What is that thing that you would say?
Is that my target audience? Younger me? Or is it just younger?
Yeah, or just
is it younger entrepreneurs?
Maybe young people in general, young entrepreneurs.
Young hustlers, like mid-20s.
I think that, man, I have to go with going back to, I think, learning how to react to things, because that dictates everything. So one, I think you got to figure out where your future is, right? Do you want to work for somebody else? Do you want to work for yourself? Make that decision and just go. Because too many people are like, yeah, what if I lose this? If I lose that? No, you're going to fucking lose that. Like, you are going to lose it. Like, there's no other way. There's no other way, Like, yeah, it may cost you a relationship. Sorry. It may cost you your bank account. Sorry. You just got to keep going, because you'll figure it out. When people are in a pinch, you see so many entrepreneurs who are telling you like, hey, I had X amount of money in my bank account, or hey, like I was lost. I was confused. I lacked purpose. Like, those are adverse events that define you as a human being. So you got to figure out, like, if I'm going into entrepreneurship, I'm going all the way. I'm going all the way, and I'm going to make sacrifices, right? And I'm going to learn how to react to things in a positive way, right? So as an entrepreneur, you're going to fail. I failed a few times in creating businesses. And what do you learn? How to do things better. Next time, I'm going to do things better. So for me, I just think learning how to react positively and, committing 110 is huge. And really, really, really investing in yourself. I think that a lot of people say, hey, you should surround yourself with the right people. I think that's huge. But I also think you should fall in love with yourself, fall in love with who you are, invest in yourself, develop yourself. I wasn't always happy with who I was as a person, and I needed to make changes, right? So whatever books you need to read, get your ass to the gym, pay for this, pay for that. Investing in yourself is never gonna get old, right? It's never gonna be a bad investment.
You're never gonna regret it.
No, besides college.
We had a debate about this. Apparently high school is just as bad, actually. We kind of ran through this with Joel, actually.
Yeah, we're getting into like the conspiracy theory stuff, which I love, and we probably need to do another full one.
This is
for
a
that.
dinner conversation.
Yeah, I like what you said, Andrew. There's so much access to information now. We basically could tell everybody how we built the agencies and say, hey, here's the blueprint.
And they wouldn't do it.
It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter because it's just what you do with the information.
Yeah.
What you do with the information. Favorite books? Go. One.
Oh, bro, I don't even have an answer for you right now. That's how many books I've read. Like I can't even think of
one of the biggest life-changing books for me. I'll name like a handful. So this was when I was at like a pivot moment when I was like deciding what I was going to.
Are you Tim Ferriss, Andrew? You kind of look like him a little bit.
I could maybe be him a little bit. No, but I think when I was deciding whether I was going to drop out of college or not, I was reading The Compound Effect by Darren Hardy. It's not like anything super groundbreaking, but the concept being like the concept of the compound effect, it just like really stuck with me. Rich Dad Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki. Maybe he's not even a book, but just like listening to Bob Proctor. Like I like Bob Proctor's
Secret?
stuff. Yeah, The Secret, whatever. But just like his kind of stuff. And
it's good stuff.
Yeah, but I'd say recently, I need to look at my Audible.
For me, it's 48 Laws of Power.
Ooh,
what is it?
I've heard a lot of people talking about that.
It's the best book I've ever read, and it's by 7 miles at least.
Really?
Yeah.
I need to read it.
Say that again. What's
It's
the
like
title?
philosophy based. The 48 Laws of Power.
Isn't it crazy that a lot of times we don't need to look towards business stuff to get better?
It's literally a note right here, just by itself. 48 Laws of Power, already on my phone. Because I was like, I swear, I've heard like 3 people talk about that recently.
I have all his books.
I do 3 things. I do. I alternate between health, spirituality, and business. Because I feel like you read too much business, it all starts to kind of blend together.
Yeah, you lose your creativity.
Yeah,
Atomic Habits. Atomic Habits is one of the best books ever. I've read it like 3 times. So good. Also, 0 to 1 is amazing. Bitcoin Standard, if you're into that stuff.
I'm telling you, 48 Laws of Power, bro.
Yeah.
It'll just shift I like books that shift the
Bitcoin
framework
shit,
of how I think. You know what I mean? If it shifts how I think, that changes my entire life, not like
paradigm shit.
Exactly. It's all it is. It's like one thought that's like, oh, I get this concept and now I will apply it more in life. But 48 Laws of Power has 48 fucking concepts in one book if you really think about it. It's a dark book though. It's Laws of Power for a reason. It's like, here's how emperors mentally conquered the fucking world.
Right.
And it's like, here's how you can,
and so that's how you use
this with use this cautiously. You know what I mean? Think
Mm-hmm.
like this. When you give someone a favor, think like this.
Is it better to be loved or feared?
Example, stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's what it goes deep on.
Yeah,
shit like that. So where can people find you, bro?
Well, let me tell you about my books.
Okay.
Hold on.
Oh yeah, your favorite books. My bad.
Hold on. I would say Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill. Huge. So obviously Think and Grow Rich. Great book. This one it was banned for like 70 years or something like that. It's fucking awesome.
Really? You can't let people know how to outwit the devil.
That's right. And it goes into like,
I'll read that one.
That's cool.
It's amazing. Honestly, I looked in my Amazon. I'm going to send it to you guys. I've gifted that book like 24 times already.
Wow.
So
zero word to us, Andrew. I just want you to write that down, document
that. Yeah. Super pivotal book. And I would say I'm a big Eckhart Tolle fan. Awakening, The New Earth, Awakening to Your Life's Purpose. Huge as far as like ego. Because I think squashing your ego, it's huge. It's huge, especially if you're type A. Where can people find me? At Neal Karski on Instagram. You can visit us at patientengine.co, not .com. Soon to be changing, not name dropping yet. I'll do so at dinner. And
that M is just so expensive. That
a little
com. Neal fell short on budget. He's like, we can do it.
I try to buy it.
No, I know. I understand, bro. Trust me. We're in the domain game. We have like, the other day, like the GoDaddy, it was like 400 domains. I was like, fuck.
It's the
I started
original.
like deleting something. I gotta
That
delete that one.
is the original digital real estate right there.
Yeah. We still, if you put in Patient Engine, we come up first, you know.
Oh yeah, I did. That's what I did.
Yeah. Awesome, dude.
I think when I first started, a guy tried to sell it to me for like $25K, and I was like, "Nah, it's cool. I'll run with this."
Yeah. I'll just take out a letter for $6 a month.
Amazing.
But thank you so much, bro. You made the drive down here. I know it was a pretty gloomy day to drive too. So thanks for making it happen. You know, I think you gave some pretty cool value on the perspective of agency owner life and like the struggles that you're going through and, you know, the wins that you're going through too. So appreciate you coming on, and
Thanks, boys.
maybe we'll do this again.
It was fun, man.
Let's do it.
Peace.
Thanks for tuning in to another episode of the 4Media Uncut podcast. If you want to work with us, learn with us, or even join the team and be a part of what we're doing at 4Media Marketing, just go to our website. It's 4media.marketing. No .com, no .net, .marketing, because that's all we do around here. And most importantly, share this with a friend wherever you're listening to or watching this on. Please hit that share button, send it over to a friend, someone else that you think will get value out of this. It would mean the world to us.
And if you're watching on YouTube, make sure you like this video and comment down below any suggestions for future guests. And if you're on Apple Podcasts, please rate this 5 stars and leave us a review there. That helps us tremendously in the algorithm world. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you on the next episode of 4Media Uncut Podcast.